welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and we are live here on Tuesday. So happy to be here with so many amazing people in the chat. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So tonight, we're going back in a time machine, I guess. We're going to talk about restoring the SnyderVerse and honestly some karma coming to some people who, I'm going to be honest, I think deserve it personally. I don't want to sit here and just gloat the whole stream, but I think it's interesting to go through watching this because, look, I like Zack Snyder, I actually do. I don't like some of the things he's done, but I respect him as a filmmaker. I always have. Everyone wants to say I didn't, but no, I did. He can make his movies. Go ahead, do your Netflix stuff. I'm excited to see what else you do. Didn't love Army of the Dead, but let's see what else happens. But the reality is I think some of his fans that he encouraged, we have proven were not the best of people. Now, a lot of fandoms have terrible fan bases, etc., but there was something about that Snyder cult that we called out, and I'm talking about that a small group of people who were just so vicious and evil and mean and bully. It was just the worst of the worst in the fandom. And he seemed to revel in it. And so there's one part of that fandom that I don't even think was part of the cult. They were just grifting the whole time. I fell for it. A lot of people fell for it. And I just want to sort of expose and just talk about what happened so we can sort of look at it as a post-mortem of sort of some of the things that happened. So we're going to talk about it. I'm so happy. We got a few guests joining, I think, tonight, but we got first guest here. So happy to have him. KC, are you there, KC? Oh, you muted yourself. Unmute. KC from Geeks Worldwide is here. And
sorry. There you are.
Yeah, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show, man.
Good. Well, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. Everyone in the chat is saying, no, Andy, gloat all you want. No, let's be a little bit nicer. We'll see what Casey wants to do. But Casey, first of all, thanks for being here. I know you do some good work out there. You got some scoops yourself. You're doing your own hard work. So thanks for making time tonight to join the stream and talk to us. First of all, introduce yourself. You work at Geeks Worldwide. Where have people maybe found you or know about you?
Yeah, so I'm the editor-in-chief of Geeks Worldwide. I mean, that means very little. We're a little fan-run site, and we just kind of shoot along as we do to just kind of have fun and talk about the things we love. And then you can find me at the Comics Kid on Twitter, and I'm very kind of vocal in the kind of amateur, I guess, journalist community. I really kind of stand for integrity and kind of making sure that as we do this for fun, and even though a lot of us don't get paid or get paid very little or not like part of a big trade, that we still have our value and we can be valued. And sometimes there's a group of people who come in and try to like mess that up. And I don't think they initially do it intentionally, but then they kind of maybe get the whiff of like, oh, I like the way this feels. And then it kind of spirals from there. And sometimes it kind of hurts all of us. And that's kind of like what I want to get out here and say.
Well said. I mean, that's spot on. I mean, look, just full disclosure, we've interacted here and there. We've maybe tussled a little bit on disagreed on certain things, but
yeah, I don't agree with everybody about everything, and I never will. And my wife will attest to that as well. So I'm very kind of hard nosed. I'm very vocal. I'm not afraid to talk. I know there's a lot of people like, oh, keyboard warrior. I am not. I will tell you to your face anything and everything how I feel. So it's not. I'm not afraid to come out here and kind of tussle a little bit if need be, and I'm not afraid to have a back and forth discussion about things, even though we can agree or not. But the problem is, like I said, there's a group of people out there who maybe have good intentions or want to make a living doing this or whatever the intention is. They're putting out information that hurts us all, and it makes all of our jobs harder.
Yep.
And I don't think people and that's why I get so upset, and maybe that's why I get so frazzled, is because there are a lot of us that are like, do the due diligence and go check sources and go back and forth and make sure that these things are right, so we don't get called out by James Gunn every 5 minutes.
Yep. Well, he's a salty one in himself. I don't like when he called out the Illuminati because that was not their fault. They had a good scoop on that, and he loves to fuck with them if he can. Every chance he can sort of, well, I didn't know about that casting report. He'll burn you. But yeah, you got to be careful, James Gunn. He does not mess around on Twitter.
Yeah, and we can talk about, I mean, if we really want to get into the nitty gritty about casting reports and how much those change and how often those
it's fair
can move around and how early those start, and then there's something completely different later down the road. But
totally valid. Totally. I mean, the reality though is like they were looking for a Zac Efron type at some point. It doesn't mean James Gunn was. I think it's all how it's marketed and how it's told, and then him like sort of being like, "What are you talking about?" He was right, but they were also right. They're not the worst of it. Let's focus on the worst.
Oh, not even close.
Let's focus on the worst.
They were like, I would say they're top 5 at least.
Yeah,
when it comes to this.
They're solid.
They're some of the best. So
so let's get to it, because I have even pulled some like. So what happened? So let's talk about what happened specifically.
So. Yeah, so I mean, I've been following this along because again, I'll be up front. I have a grudge against the Lightcast and the Culture Nerd. I do. I called them out multiple times on multiple stuff. I reach out to sources. So when they started this whole like Airwolf stuff, I contacted Zoink Studios and I was like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And they're like, "We have no idea what this is. We have no idea what they're talking about. This is a totally fabricated story." So I had emails and everything to prove that.
Well, hold on, because I want people to know what we're talking about, because these are nobodies. Sure. These are nobodies, first of all, that we're focusing on. I don't mean to punch down, but I think it's important to sort of they consider themselves to be very professional. So I think it's very fair to show when someone is exposed as a fraud, which I believe these people were, which I called out day one and got myself. For those who don't know, we're talking about this. It's called Lightcast Podcast. And I said I'd never talk about them here. But the only reason I'm talking about here is because they no longer exist. They have completely terminated their existence all over social media. Even I guess their podcasts are still technically up, but their YouTube channel, their Instagram, Matthew, who ran Lightcast Pod, everything has just been pulled like a con man, like running away from the crime scene. All of it has just been completely dusted. So it's that is what we're talking about here. And I want to get back to Casey sort of sharing his side on all this. Sorry, let me make sure I lost him here. Wait, on my side camera. Wait a second, bear with me. I want to sort of just give the top line of what we're doing here. There it is. Because again, I just want to gloat. This isn't about gloating, because I do have a beef with him too, but I totally have moved on. But I'm with Casey totally. I think we are united on this. We're so sick of these fakers, these grifters, these legit grifters who are making shit up and jumping on a movement to try to be, get the cred and embrace that fan base, and then like they're the experts, professionals, and they know what they're doing. And this guy at Lightcast was doing it all the time to a sickening degree. And I knew it. KC clearly knew it. A lot of us knew it. And so now, just so you guys know who we're talking about and what's happening, Lightcast was always a bullshit thing. Just for my full disclosure, I'm going to turn over to Casey. And also, welcome. Lewis is in the building. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, what's up, everyone? I hear this bullshit thing, and then you put me up on the screen. What up, man? What up? I thought you were my friend.
What's bullshit? Up? Lewis meet Casey. Casey meet Lewis. All right, but
Casey, what up, man?
I was going to set up. All right, so Lightcast was like a nobody. And he called into one of my open streams, right? I just had like an open phone line at a certain point. I did call-ins earlier on, and I let anybody call in. I'm always down to talk to anybody, unless they're out to get me or they're a shithead. Like, certain people I'm not going to.
Yeah, I remember them. They're bottom feeding.
Yeah, and were you there? I tried to find. I didn't want to, but there was a clip where he called in, and he was very supportive. I think Jody and I were on, and he was very supportive, and he was just kissing our ass.
And then he turned around and
then he called. Then he backstabbed, and then he called again and just made a whole point to shit on me because he knew some of the Snyder fans didn't like me. So he totally changed his whole platform to shit on me because he knew the fan base that he wanted to steal was not a fan of mine. So he just completely changed it, and I called it out to his face. I even screamed at him because I was like, I could just tell. I was like, this guy is the worst, complete phony faker. And then somehow he managed to ride the ladder of the SnyderVerse fandom, and they bought it. There was one before I go back to Kizzy. I was seeing some chats here. Like here's one. Here's Justin Let's Go is calling out the fact that he's like, how did all these kids get suckered by Lightcast? They've been a joke forever. Goes to show people fall for what they want over what is actually factual. And I think that's really what happened here. And that's really what I want to talk about. We got to be careful.
It's like a cult, bro. It's like a religious cult.
I wonder. It's like
they
a cult.
approach people when they're down. And look, I understand you like the Snyder Cut and stuff. And then here comes someone that doesn't know anything and promises them stuff. And it's I feel bad for the Snyder Cut, the true fans that really wanted to see it continue.
Agreed.
I mean, that was kind of my feeling as well, because I mean, again, like I would always go back to be like, why are people why? What nothing they've said has ever proven to be accurate. Like nothing. They have a zero track record.
Bro, so I hang around Warner Brothers Pictures. I go on the lot, chill, eat popcorn, pizza, and when I say something on the mic, they don't believe me. So I don't know, man. It's just the way it is.
Dude,
It's
I broke the Spider-Man scoop, like I committed it to it, and everyone's like, Grace Randolph did it. It's like you can't win in this space.
Ridiculous.
You can't win in this space. So
it is what it is, right? Yeah.
But yeah, no, Casey, I don't know. So let's go back to your side of this, because there's a lot of people here where this really came to light was the Lightcast was the fact. I mean, just so we're clear, these guys interviewed Zack himself. Why do I keep there? It is. They like had an episode with Zack Snyder, DeBra Snyder. They got all Ray Fisher. They became sort of Snyder cult royalty, and were taken seriously in this sphere and given access.
No.
And they were given all this access that was like kind of crazy, because it showed to me that anybody could get it. Whoever was going to be the most pro Zack Snyder, Lewis, is ultimately who gets in there and gets all this access. And that's where my problem with Zack has come about. Like, he did no vetting on any of these people, and ultimately I think that was a massive mistake on his part. And then he the only time he did vetting was when on Geeks and Gamers they made like $100,000 in charity, and then he calls them out. Anyway, long story short, Lightcast was all around there doing this stuff, and here's where things came to a head. So hold on, some of these goddamn ads, go away. I gotta get ad blocker, I guess. I try to support, and all they do is just all right, here, let's do a screen rant. This is a better one to start with, even though I hate screen rant. So anyway, so what happened? What happened here? And hopefully, I know Casey's. I think his kids got up or something. He's got a distraction.
Oh, that's fine.
So while we're waiting, let me try and sum up what Casey was going to set up for you guys. But basically, look, Lewis, the Snyder cut is done. Like, it's over. I know people they don't like to hear that, but it's over. Warner, unless I guess Discovery decides to reunite this, I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I think they're going to move on with all the other things they have. The SnyderVerse is dead. They've said as much. Zack seems to have moved on. He's going to Netflix. It is what it is, right? But now all these people who committed and got all this power and these social media cred points, so like, yeah, we're the army, we can't be stopped. Now they got nothing. They got nothing to talk about. They have no more power. No one cares about. A lot of them were proven to be bullies. The fans that got the movie. They've moved on with their life like normal people do. Some of them are disappointed that SnyderVerse isn't happening. I get that. The normal people, I get you. I'm sorry. But everybody sort of went on with their life. But now you have all these sort of Snyder cultists who are out there trying to figure out, well, what's the next grift? What can we do next? How can we jump on this train? And so Lightcast, seemingly after seeing the storyboards, was like, hey, we got an idea. Let's make a fan-driven, fundraised motion comic based off of Zack's storyboards. And so they
let me interject there.
Please,
so
go.
It wasn't even their idea.
Oh, okay, great. So whose idea was it?
It was like one of the other guys that one of these other YouTube guys. It was their idea. Initially, their idea, I guess, was to just do like a audio, like a narration over pictures. So like they were just gonna have like someone narrate the story and then have like pictures flash or whatever. You know what I mean? Something relatively simple. And then I guess the idea was to bring in like, oh, we want to like up the game. So they brought in Matt because he had the resources to do so. And then that's kind of where this all like spiraled into this motion comic thing.
So Matt, but correct me if I'm wrong, it sure seemed like Matt was like, ooh, here's a way to stay relevant for a little bit longer with this fan base.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yeah. So, and that was, and again, like as soon as, right. So motion comic by the fans, great idea. By all means, go for it. But again, I want to understand like why this dude has a reputation of being fraudulent, of like kind of glomming onto a fandom, of being fraudulent, of putting out fake stuff, of not having a great reputation outside of his like circle of friends, right? So why choose this guy? Like, you know what I mean? You have people like Garza who are talented, right?
Yeah.
That John Garza, he's talented. He's a talented guy. I'm sure he could have.
And he got a lot of scoops
like,
right. He got some wrong,
yeah,
but mostly he was right on. Exactly. I'm friends with Garza. I always respected him.
So I think there was someone else they could have went to leadership, and then because I think that's where at the end of the day that's where this whole thing kind of crumbles, is at the top, and it's for the leadership. And again, when you go back and you go back and you look at some of these guys' videos who are working with this guy and doing all their stuff together, they're all blaming toxic fandom, and they're not putting any blame on the artist or the people who are approving the art.
Well, so let's explain that for people who don't know. So they figured out another grift. They're like, oh, cool. And it could have been a good idea, to be fair. Oh, we'll do a motion comic, but clearly a way for these fake, fraudulent, tipsters to stay relevant with this fan base that's all they have, because the only score they have is we have DeBra Snyder on Rolodex and Ray Fisher. But at a certain point, even the Snyder fans are getting, moving on from it all. So they thought, well, let's do this motion comic because that can keep us relevant and become an expert. It's kind of like what the guy, what's his name, Sean at Cinema Blend did when he wrote the book. And then he pissed off a lot of Snyder fans with that. But that's a whole separate side topic. But so hey, here's Lightcast going and sort of doing this motion comic. But so what ended up happening, and then you can correct me here, is they basically just traced all the work. Now, tracing sort of a thing you can do for inspiration. But as the fans noticed, they were literally just ripping it off. This was not just like a trace for inspiration. This was a blatant trace. And more people were noticing more and more just blatant rip-offs from other artists' work. And, a lot of stuff started happening. And then there's a lot of examples of it as sort of the work was coming out from Lightcast of all the work they did, just how much they were, in fact, stealing from other artists. And just the irony of, like, why on earth would anyone want, the whole Snyder Cut movement is about embracing the artist, right? And for them to like go around and start taking all this other art and stealing it and it's part of their project, it was really bad. So now Casey...
From Jeff Johns' books, no less. They're like, you can't write this stuff.
From Jeff Johns'
you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't it's insane. And that was, again, this is what kind of caught the attention. And initially, so they were putting out these images and everyone was like, oh, these are cool. And then they put out that Wonder Woman one. And that's when I think we were all like, this looks familiar.
Right.
And then that's when it kind of blew up everything. And then you go back and every single image they put out was traced or had tracings in it, or what a portion of it was traced from another comic.
Right.
Mainly, usually the central figure.
Right. And again, the irony of that, just like the whole restore the SnyderVerse and everything, it's like give the artist the rights. And so they were going to do this. Now, all right, so they're called out. And then how do they react? This is where things even got worse. Rather, they steal the artwork. And then from what I've gathered from a lot of these comments, they refuse to take any accountability. They denied it, like, oh, this is just 1% of what you're seeing and blah, 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 blah. And ultimately, no one ever came forward and sort of apologized or said, oh, sorry, you're right. Don't worry, we're working on new art. There was zero accountability, correct?
Yeah, no, they never. First, they like doubled down and they said, oh, you're only seeing 1% of the art. And they're like, okay, well, 1% of tracing is still tracing or stealing is still stealing. But all right, I guess 1% of the art.
Here it was. We've seen a few concerns. Some of our art is inspired by drawings of Jim Lee, Jason Fabug, and Avon Rice. Most of the drawings you'll see in the project will be 100% newly created original art. We're very excited for you to see. You've only seen 1%. So it's bullshit.
So the funny thing about that whole statement is, if you go back and there was some video where they were announcing this project, the Lightcast guy, Matt, says, he says, we are using 100% original art. None of it's taken from Jim Lee. Literally use Jim Lee's name.
And then here he is saying, oh, yeah,
Jim Lee art.
It's all inspired by Jim Lee. And doesn't mention Jeff Johns, which would have been, the fans would have loved to have heard that. And so a lot of fans were trying to justify it because, oh, well, it's for charity. So, it's okay. That's a constant theme in this fan base. Well, we're charity, so we can bully people. Well, we're a charity, so we can wish death threats. Well, we're a charity, we can trace. It's a really weird way they use that shield because, look, I'm all for the charity. Let's be nice to the charity. But we shouldn't be so vocal on our charity giving. That should be something we do because it's right. But did you notice that too, just how often some, and not all of them, but some in this fan base would constantly use that as a way to sort of deflect.
Absolutely.
It was really, and anybody who's using that, that's a red flag, guys, because they're probably not even really giving the charity. Half those bullies were just, pointing to the people that were. And then the people that were never calling out the bullies, which we were constantly up against trying to sort of call out. And so many people in that fandom were just like, oh, fuck you guys. You just hate Zack Snyder. This is a fucking movie. This is fucking ridiculous. You can't just keep saying, well, charity, 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 charity. Which Zack, it was another excuse. Zack himself said, well, how can you be mad at, there's no toxicity. They've raised all this money for charity. Do you blame Zack for all this?
I think Zack Snyder is willfully ignorant. I mean, I'm sure he's aware of some things that have happened and is probably not. And of course, with the geeks and gamers kind of thing that happened, I'm sure that he's definitely aware of some bad corners of the fandom. But I mean, who knows when those interviews were done prior to when those things type of happen. But obviously he's not vetting, or whoever is doing his PR is not vetting where he's going and promoting his projects. And I think that's probably going to change down the road.
I hope he's learned that lesson, him or DeBra. I hear DeBra is the one who's more actually supposed to be paying attention to it all, where Zach doesn't. And it seems like, one of them needs to get their shit in order for the next film that they do to stop just going to all the places. I want to go to what Lightcast did you specifically. Because Jody is reminding me too. I don't know why I've blocked a lot of this out, so my apologies. And Jody, you can call it if you need to. Always welcome. But Jody was reminding me when we did that stream with Lightcast, he wished him death, hoped he got the Rona, and then made up lies about him, and then me all over the damn movie. And so it was just yet another example of where he did that. But you were telling me he did some terrible stuff to you as well behind the scenes, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't great. So of course, after I had called them out on the Air stuff and the Cyborg series and a bunch of things that were just blatantly untrue, he wanted me to come on his show. And initially I was like, okay, I'll go on I'll talk to anybody. I'm not like, okay, whatever. I'm happy to have a conversation. Like I said before, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But then his emails got really like aggressive and threatening. And basically saying like, we're gonna expose you and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what there's to expose. Like everything about me is on the internet or whatever. Okay. So I kind of did bow out. I was like, I'm not doing this. And it was probably a good idea. And I've heard he's done this to a few other journalist friends of mine as well. And then around that time too, there were a bunch of fake like Twitter accounts that popped up with like personal information. But it wasn't my information. This is where they screwed up. It wasn't my information. It was my wife's, which means that they had to have gone to my wife's Facebook page, which is, it just says like Ashley or Casey Walsh. I just said her name, but it just says both of our names. So I guess they assumed that was my information, but I have never logged on to that thing ever. So they pulled a bunch of her information and made a bunch of fake profiles, and then were putting out like stuff about her job and what her job was, and then about my stuff, me and my kids, and how I was, I don't know, this typical like fake account stuff. Not like addresses or nothing like that bad, but I mean, it was definitely like, okay, well, you obviously went and searched out this information.
Over a fucking movie. Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah. And then the only reason I knew it was them is because like, I was telling my followers, hey, like just report these accounts. I'm pretty sure it's this guy. I don't have any proof or anything, but like these are the only people I've ever really like had a spat with. And of course, these accounts start popping up immediately after. Shocking. So then the Culture Nerd account puts out an apology saying we apologize for retweeting like fake or retweeting these accounts or whatever. And it's like, wait, why are you apologizing for something like you had no part of? Or you claim to have no part of. It was very weird. And then when he got caught doing that and people called him out on it, he had a car accident mysteriously that same day, maybe not, and then bounced off Twitter for a week.
Jesus Christ!
Like I said, and this has been a pattern. This is their pattern. They get called out for something and then they disappear for a week, and then they claim they were harassed or they claim toxic fandom attacked them. And then they have an excuse, and they have a whole group of friends who back them up on it, and the cycle continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's so frustrating. I see Joey in the chat. I just want to echo what he's saying, because it's like the reality was we went up against them. And a lot of people just told me, Andy, stop. What are you doing? This is stupid. It's not all the fans. And I never said it was all the fans. But there was a very vocal, aggressive, scary minority. And I've been in this industry for a pretty decent amount. When I was at ScreenJunkies, I dealt with a lot of stuff. The only other person to ever send me a death threat was a DC fan before the SnyderVerse really was going away. It was a Jared Leto Joker fan that was literally threatened Dan and I in the building, and like we had to get security for it because he said they were going to shoot us in the belly. Like, it was scary for a certain point. And so like literally I've dealt with the Marvel fans get intense, the Star Wars fans, they definitely have their moments, but there's nothing like these DC fans, the minority aggressive egregious ones. And I was just bothered by how many people just didn't give a shit. And they sort of were like enjoying and liking and laughing along as these fucking clowns, these terrorists were like out there just like wrecking people's lives, doxing them, threatening them. There were some dark days I had, and I remember Jody and I stood up to this, and we called him the cult, and we got a lot of shit for it. And then we went up against Ray, which is a whole side thing. I don't want to bury up all the stupid bullshit, but there really was a point where we were right. We were totally right. There was this aggressive, fucking awful people that were trying to make our life miserable because we didn't like a damn movie, and we called them out. And they're not around anymore, guys. They're all fucking dying by the vine. So Jody, bravo. We no one else had the fucking balls out there to fucking go up heavy against it. And I'm so glad we did, because these scumbags were awful. And I know, and I'm not speaking all Snyder fans. There were a lot of really great Snyder fans out there that enjoyed the movie. We're grateful that they got the movie, moved on with their life. But these people were awful. And so not only did you have these awful scum, but then you had these just abhorrent people like Lightcast who were faking it, who were literally there making bullshit up to get in with the Ray Porters and the Ray Fishers. And then whenever you think of Ray Fisher, bamboozled by all these fucking idiots who probably don't give two shits about whatever they're doing, but were just trying to get whoever they could to up their cred. So look, you guys just got to be careful out there what you're getting and what you're finding, because this shit was crazy. There was Jody, I wish you would call, because there was a point, Casey, when I was there, and we were, and I know everybody loves Jody, but I will always love Jody. He's my man. He's not everyone's favorite. He keeps it real. But there was a point, and Jody can attest. Lewis, you're here. You can attest too.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was really like bothered by it. Like I got depressed and like had to scale it down because the level of threats and hate I was getting for getting a story wrong, which wasn't even wrong. I said Warner Brothers will never release the Snyder Cut. Facts. It's Warner Brothers wants nothing to fucking do with them. My story was true. They just AT&T changed it. You know. Go ahead, Casey. What?
That is the one. So whenever I get in an argument with these fucking douchebags, I've encountered them too. They sent me death threats as well when this shit all started, and now that it's all happened, and I'll still debunk stuff or whatever. I'll say, Ben Affleck's not having an HBO Max series. Sorry, guys, it's not happening.
And I would have watched that one. That one I would have fucking watched.
It's not. So sorry. And then they would come in my mentions and be like, well, here's your tweet saying the Snyder Cut was wrong, and you reached out to Warner Brothers and they said it wasn't happening. And I'm like, yeah, dude, Zack Snyder said it wasn't happening either until October or whatever. And this tweet happened like 2 weeks before that. So I don't know, I don't know what you were like implying, like that, like, you know what I mean? This wasn't something that was in the works for like a year and a half. It's something they threw together.
He revealed he admitted it didn't happen until the spring of that fucking year. There was so much shit. Yeah, so it's like all these people like, well, no, you were wrong. And it's like, no, Warner Brothers despised him. They wanted nothing to do with it, and they regret doing it. They regret it tremendously. You can see it's all forming itself and proving the truth, because they admit they clearly didn't want anything to do with them. It was Jason Kilar, AT&T, stepped in, desperate with the pandemic. We need fucking content. Why are you guys... I bet you $100 million, Jason Kilar's like, why the fuck didn't you just greenlight this movie? We need everything we fucking can get. Zach, what do you need? Okay, great. Zach, we got an awesome movie. Now we got something to launch. That's what they fucking did.
That was before the theatrical stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like if they had made that theatrical decision before greenlighting the Snyder Cut, I don't know if you would still have this Snyder Cut.
Here's the bottom line. Andy reported that Warner Brothers didn't want to do anything with the Zack Snyder. And I don't know, for some reason, the Snyder only fans took that as like you're endorsing what they think. You were just simply reporting the news that came out to be facts, because even according to them, Warner Brothers didn't greenlight the Snyder Cut. Wasn't it AT&T? Mm-hmm. That's not Warner Brothers, right? So your story was correct, and never did I see you endorse like, oh, good, they hate Zack Snyder or whatever. You were just simply reiterating the news, which is what we're supposed to do. But we're talking about, again, a lot of them are admitting that this is a cult. I gotta say, so good on them and stuff. Maybe they're coming around and stuff. But hey, even I got threats. I was just never really mentioned them, but I got threats. It's just at my age, man. Bring it, man. Come on, let's go. You know what I mean? Every journalist and anyone that writes for a website that I know was threatened at some point if they weren't. Yeah. Like positive about it. And I was the guy that was saying that I wanted to see the Snyder Cut. Only sin I committed was saying that it didn't exist. Well, when you put $90 million in a movie.
It didn't exist.
So yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm still gonna stand there and say that I even know people who've seen the real Snyder cut. The one that we didn't get.
Yeah,
I just spoke to them this week, which is fine. That's a great accomplishment, man. They should be like, yeah, we did it. $90 million. They listened to us. We got Snyder's vision in there, but the Joker stuff, the dream sequence, that wasn't in there. Get out.
Well, somebody knows about the hate. My man Jody's in the building. What's up, Jody?
What's up, man? I gotta be here for this, man. It felt right that I come here and support. The NBA Finals is on right now. That's why I wasn't here earlier.
Well,
but
don't remind people who are watching.
Forget this game. Road trip. I'm here. They're gonna stay now.
Jody, you know what feels right?
What's up?
Jody's Corner, my favorite.
What's up, y'all? Hey, listen. Shout out to y'all, everybody here, man. But it's only right, bro.
Hold on, wait. Knock Shadow
against the bullying. Hashtag tip your creators.
Knock Shadow just sent a tip. Thank you, Knock Shadow.
Thank you.
He said, freak the haters, stand up to the bullying, tip your creators. I appreciate you, Knock. Exactly, tip the creators. Appreciate you. Get the.
Buy that for $1.
Appreciate you, Knock. In fact, stay tuned. We got two things we're funny tonight we're going to get to, but I just want to get all this drama out of our way. But we got something pumped for Lewis, and I got something special for you guys, so stay tuned. Lots coming. But Jody,
they
continue.
went after Jody. I'm going to tell you this because Jody is a prideful person, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. You're a man's man. You're a father. You're a man of your word. You're very logical. You're one of the most logical people I know. Same thing goes with Andy. You guys were bullied behind.
Let's take your lips off his ass. It's my show.
Hey, I'm trying to lick your ass too, right? All right. Listen,
and we all lick each other.
I heard so many foul things come out from people who were trying to represent DC. That is not DC. DC, the main person in DC is Superman. Hope and optimism. You could piss on Superman. He will not come after you with these things that these two guys got the heat. And when these guys would say one little thing like, hey, you know what? We're getting death threats. We're getting called the N-word. No excuse for that. We're getting coronavirus wished on us, right? They would come back and say, oh, no, that ain't happening. Like, deny it.
Or, hey, we're giving to charity, so it doesn't matter.
Or, no, my favorite is, oh, that's only part of the fandom. That's one part of the fandom.
Yeah, but they would never denounce that part of the fandom.
No, never.
They would never denounce. Instead, they made hundreds of videos about these two guys to get in their algorithm. I knew exactly what they were doing. They know these guys have a lot of support, and then they were trying to take advantage out of you, the community, to look for Jody's Corner, look for Signore, Popcorn Planet, and then bump into these morons.
Right,
You know what I mean? I know what they were doing.
But the other facet of people was that they were afraid. They were afraid because they were getting death threats, or they were afraid that they couldn't come out against this fan. But you know who wasn't afraid? Yeah, even I at some point bucked. But you know who wasn't goddamn afraid? It was Jody's Corner. Jody, I'm going back to you.
I'm sorry. I come from the place, man, and I think a lot of it has to do, bro. Grew up in the 90s, bro. I come from a place where real bullies existed. Meet you after school, punch you in the face, physical abuse. This didn't mean shit to me, bro. And I'll admit, it was hot. It's hot to wake up in the morning and see N-words. It's hot to wake up and the first thing in the morning, kill yourself, F you, get coronavirus, die, fat black pig, you're worse than a terrorist, you're a bottom feeder. Consistently. It's annoying. I'll admit it. And there was a time where Andy was pushed to the fence. Like, he was like, I don't know, man. I said, Andy, bro, we got to do this, bro. We could do it. I said, freak it. So he was like, freak it. Got that second wind, and we went there, and we didn't give in to the bullying, because I remember that stream when Lightcast first came in, bro. You had a conversation with him, and I was watching. He was legitimately sucking you off.
Yep.
Listening to our opinions, agreeing with our points. He was basically fanboying. At the end of the day, Lightcast, you was a fan, bro.
And then
he was a fan, and
he decided to change teams afterwards to the Snyder fan base, because they're like, oh wait, Snyder doesn't like Andy and Jody. Well, fuck Andy and Jody.
It's the same thing with the blob guy. The blob guy,
the human toe.
The blob
guy, bro.
Film gobbed him too. Yeah.
Oh, bro, I just looked at his channel, Lewis, bro. He ain't made one video in 2 months for sure.
The thing is,
back in those walls, bro. You Bedbug for sure.
They can't trash us about Snyder shit anymore.
He was cool with us right after the stream. Everything was good, and then he turns around and.
Bro, I see all they content trash, bro, because at the end of the day, if you can't talk Snyder, then it's up to you for your movie opinion. Your Marvel, your Star Wars, your pop culture, your news, but then again, your opinion's garbage. You're not entertaining. You don't have knowledge. All you did was troll for 2, 3, 4 years about a Snyder movie, and now that movie's gone and done with, now what you got to talk about? You guys, the curtain has been pulled back on y'all. Y'all been exposed for being talentless, and now y'all hiding, eating each other like bedbugs. You guys are a little bit. They're eating each other, bro. And all I'm doing is. And Andy doing this, and Luce is doing, and I'm pretty sure Casey right here is doing. Sorry about your story. Is we're just moving forward.
Yeah, look, we're on ground zero of. We could only talk about our community, but Casey's another story, and we're 100% sure all this happened, Casey, and worse probably. And there's probably other communities that got attacked that we'll never hear about because we didn't really talk.
Here's how I know. Here's how I know this guy's a fraud, bro. Because I'm telling you, I was there with Andy when he first came in. And I said, Andy, don't let him in.
He did.
Don't let him in. I said, don't let him in. Why are you letting him in? Why are you letting these fools in?
Well, no, wait. I think the first time, it wasn't you said the second time.
Yes. No. The first time, I didn't want you to let him in. When he came in.
We didn't know him the first time, though.
Exactly. He was talking trash in the chat.
Oh,
and then he came in, and then he started. I remember. Yeah, I said, don't let that fool in, freak him. He came in. Changed it up. He was real mannerable and nice, and he was open to what we were saying. He was starstruck. He was a fan. And then a couple of days went by. He went and then you see tweets. He's talking trash about us. Well, what happened? Where's that energy that you kept in that chat, bruh? So then you invited him back. I said, Andy, don't bring this fool back. He's a troll. He's like, no, let's get him. Let's go. I'm gonna confront him. I said, freak. All right, fine. Brought him in, and sure enough, he started unleashing the verbal. Step back, Jody. You want to get that coronavirus and you don't want to die. F him, shut up. Completely disrespectful. Andy, you're a fraud, this, lies, that, making stuff up. And I'm sitting back listening like 2 days ago, you were in here sucking us off, talking about how wise we were. And here you are 48 hours later with genuine hate in your heart. How can any human being, regardless of what it is, how can anyone make a 180 turn like that? How can anyone do that? Well, when you're a fraud, when you don't have any morals, when you don't have any value, when you're just chasing the next wave of what's hot to get popular, when you're chasing, that's what you do. And this situation with the artwork, that makes a lot of sense to me, bro, because he went to that fan base and did as much as he could to try to be popular. But at the end of the day, bro, when you're united, and this goes to everybody, when you're united in hate, there's no real loyalty there. There's no real life there. All that will crumble and fall apart in the end. Just look at him now.
Right, and it's a lesson I just want to echo because we've talked about this before, but I want to really echo it. Giving life to that hate is the worst thing you could do, and I've made that mistake now way too many times in my career, especially my resurgence, and even recently. If I sense somebody, whether they're a fan of mine, a friend of mine, if they're out there to get clout, to expose me, to share my DMs without permission, whatever the fuck they're doing to basically show they have zero loyalty to me but themselves, well, then you're not a friend of mine. You're not in my circle. Why the fuck would I waste my time? And why would I give you life? That's what it's about. You want to surround yourselves with people you can trust, who you can be loyal. It's not like you have to do whatever they say, but it's like you want friends, right? And people you know. And the problem with this YouTube community, I think what happened with the Snyder Cole, et cetera, is all these people were getting views. They were feeling like they were popular.
It's all for clout and
they
fame,
were all like, jumping on each other's streams and supporting each other to like keep building the clout. But you're right. They were building on hate. They were building on fakeness and fraudulent bullshit. There was a common theme, but I really, even Larry Bird, I don't want to bring it up, but even he was exposed for sort of showing that he wasn't even a Snyder fan. There was like an old video of him sort of calling out bullshit.
The stuff that I saw over these last few months is pure comedy. and you know what? I don't care because I would have annihilated each and every one of them and just destroyed them. I don't care. I'm just moving forward, bro. But the stuff that come out, like the stuff about the Larry Bird.
I mean, whatever. Do your thing. This is not go. I do not want to fuel them to give them more. I don't want to use his real name. I don't want to fuel to give it more. Bad. But it's just they're all just falling apart because that's what they were built on. And you can only have Ray Fisher on for so many times. Exactly. Even if you're a fan, it's like at a certain point, what else can you do? And so do they actually want to come to you for the platform, or they want to come to you because we're all rallying for the Snyder thing that now isn't clearly going to happen? At a certain point, you got to move on. But yeah, there was so much bullshit out there and so much hatred. And yeah, you got to stand up against it. Don't give it light. And I knew I was never going to do a podcast about this guy ever. But now that he's gone, I feel like it really is an important lesson and reminder to sort of show
what a coward too.
What a coward. Celebration.
He deleted his account.
But yeah, look look
the
at
worst
this.
part is he just left all those other people with the bag.
What
Like,
a
he was
coward.
Peace. I'm out. Good luck
What
with
a
this.
coward. That's exactly what he ain't.
Yeah,
No
look
man.
at
He's a
this. Here's an
sniveling
I don't know.
coward.
Here's like
that's
sorry,
it.
currently on hiatus and will no longer be airing on the Lightcast Network. We want to thank Lightcast for Believe, for hosting. Thanks to everybody. Like all these people are now just in the lurch, have no idea what to do. And here's your tweet, which was pretty great. It's just a cultured nerd's another one who's in all this bullshit. But yeah. I rooted for Matt and defended them. I wish them the best. Matt definitely needs to do some reflecting. He criticized a lot of people over the years. Yeah, you're being nice. When that criticism came his way, he shut everything down. Not a good look. Hope he finds his way. He needs to find his way for sure.
Cowardice.
He has lost it. And just look, I'm not doing this to dox or bash him, but this is the guy behind it, Matthew Miranda. Look at this. He has 6 years as a mental health rehabilitation supervisor. Like, come on, dude. Like, what? You're a mental health expert English teacher, and you were doing these fucking... This is the guy, Lightcast. This is him.
He's a what? Who is he?
This is Lightcast, the host. This is him. He was an English teacher and a mental... This is LinkedIn. It's all public.
Are you serious,
He's an
bro?
English teacher
Really?
and a mental health specialist. Are you... Like, I couldn't help it. I just looked this up. I'm like, holy shit. Like, what? Dude, you are one of the most toxic people I've ever met.
You know what, dog? This shit just keeps getting better.
You can't write this shit.
What do you say to what do you say to that? What the heck? Are you serious right now? Mental health? Are you serious?
Well, I wouldn't. Look, I'm not going to go to him for my mental health needs personally. I don't know about you guys, but anyway.
Oh yeah, and then another one was supposed to be a pastor in this cult, right?
Yeah. That is what it is.
For sure. Hey, nice, bro. Hey, at the end of the day, bro, this world is twisted when you got people like this out here teaching children, but you make hate videos wishing death on others, and you got the
doxing people, finding
sure.
Casey's wife. Like, oh my god, when you bring in someone's wife and kids on it, that's next level psychodom. Like, and nobody fucking stood up to this shit. Everyone was afraid.
Nobody.
I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to call them out. But I know a lot of bigger name people who were DMing me about it and liking what we were doing, Jody, but refused to come forward and say anything. And still to this day, because they're like, I don't want to deal with them. They were afraid. They were afraid to do it. And it was a gross thing. And we got to, as a fans and everybody, you got to stand up against this fucking bullying hate. Look, we can disagree on movies. We can yell at each other about movies all day long. But when it starts getting to death threats, you got to call that shit out. There's no excuse. Charity, I don't give a shit what it is. No excuse for death threats or wishing the Rona on people or doxing people's wives and kids. Like, if you see people in that, the whole community, Zack Snyder himself, should be like, yo, enough. But they never did, and it only made it bigger and bigger and bigger and worse and worse and worse.
This is reeking,
where we
though.
are.
I gotta say, I think this kind of reeks of like they didn't know tracing was a no-no. Because at the end of the day, they are bottom feeders.
No, they knew it.
Nah,
Casey
don't give him
said
that.
it.
Don't give him that
Casey
opening.
said-
Don't give him that
no,
pass.
it's dumb. They're dumb, man.
They know.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
know. They
Casey
know about
even said
plagiarism.
it. Casey even said they weren't even supposed to use Jim Lee, and then he changed his tune and said, "Oh, we're going to inspire from Jim Lee." Look, the dude's gone. It's over. It's not like about we won, but we won, Jody Lewis. We
won. Yeah,
this is a W.
We won.
There's nothing else we can do. I mean, I wish the normal Snyder fans who were out there, I wish you guys well, but you should have said something. A lot of you should have said something.
Y'all could have saved a lot of damage from happening.
Too many people didn't want to say anything, and you empowered.
I want to say, like, there were, like I said, I was fucking rallying against these guys from day goddamn one. Again, because they were fucking peddling bullshit. And
where was you at when I was doing it 5 years ago?
Oh, bro, I was fucking
day one. I was right here. I got YouTube videos dated in 2016. Where was you at then? I'm not trying to call you out.
We were all doing it. Fair enough.
I'm not as popular as you, Jody.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I would in 2016. I would have saw somebody else other than me doing it.
I saw he was out there on Twitter a little bit doing it, but yeah, I don't know if it was as loudly. Maybe we missed it, but we'll go. Go ahead, Casey. What were we gonna say?
So I think what happens is like when you're reporting like scoop. I hate calling them scoops, but when you're reporting exclusive news or whatever, you get people that like DM you and be like, "Is this true? Is this true? Is this true?"
Yes.
Of other people's stuff all the time.
Oh my god,
so,
it's
like,
so annoying.
So their stuff would pop up in my feed all the time, and I would just be like, "No, it's total fucking utter bullshit."
Yep.
And that's kind of what got them to start attacking me and all that shit. But yeah, I just don't understand after being wrong and seeing the manipulation firsthand. And these are dudes that went on a live stream. Everyone was calling them out, and they were like, we have here's pictures proof. Here's pictures of my friend working on the CGI for Hulk when he was white skinned. And it was like, wait a second. And then here's a picture of like a exclusive family screening of Shazam. And you're like, oh wait, I've seen that picture before. And the dude was pulling up like Google images and saying they were like his family like photo to like prove like he wasn't lying about like Ben Affleck's new contract and all this shit. So like, and then the people would still be like, yeah, they're legit. They're legit guys. Like we should totally we should put them in charge of this new project.
Yeah, he was doing that on the air with Jody. And don't you remember that part, Jody, where Lightcast was like trying to tell us that he was legit because he knew the gaffer.
He knew a lot of people and all that. Yeah. I mean, listen to that shit.
It was complete bullshit.
Exactly. Here's an example, Andy, of what I'm talking about. Bedbug leeches, bro. This dude right here, I just banned. Big DC, who's been on my channel. I banned him about 4 years ago. About 4 years ago. He thought I ain't gonna remember him.
Jody has the memory of a fucking.
You was over there, homie. You was over there on all 8 channels, homie. Talk about we trash and this and that. You a film gobber. And here you are in Andy's comment section talking about, where's Poindexter at? He's hiding. Stop trying to switch teams, punk. Man, get up out of here with that. This is that fraudulent shit I'm talking about. They're leeches, bro. They're blood-sucking ticks.
These leeches,
from
Jody,
one side to another. What is this?
We've given these leeches so much life. I have more than you. I've been on their streams trying to and giving them more and more.
I saw you.
I've been there trying to rationalize with these bed bugs.
What is going on here?
They're like talking to walls. They just are they don't think because they can't budge from their position because then they'll upset the fan base.
Obama was president when I banned him, bro.
But they create this whole narrative now where we're the enemy and we're the toxic ones. But they've created this whole thing. It's like that's nothing. That the only time they were ever popular was when they would shit on us or talk about us. And it's so crazy. All these people. And whenever they hate us or they get banned from us, they go to the weeds, as we call like the sort of the what's the island of misfit toys
about us
to go trash. And there's like a growing base of like hater channels, like people that clearly are obsessed with us, watch us way more than they want to admit, and then they all grow and so I don't want to give any of those idiots life anymore because and anyway we've been banned from them apparently, and you know what, I'm happy to accept a mutual ban, so it is what it is. Usually I'll talk to anybody, but I'm done talking to those fools. But how about Goodhound just became an investor? Holy shit!
That's the highest one,
right?
That
is the highest tier, Goodhound. That's how we show the haters and these DC fans. If you want, keep that support coming. Oh my God, Goodhound, welcome to the channel. Popcorn Planeteer investor. Bravo, sir. Throw some planets in the air.
Blown, bro.
Woo!
I'm still blown off of that shit, bro. I can't believe
that he's a mental health specialist. Jesus Christ. Can you believe that, Casey? The irony?
That's
crazy, man.
Yeah, apparently he's also had like a long career in filmmaking, but I don't know if that's
channel
true.
Trash though. How you making films? Your channel trash. Your videos trash. Your streams is trash. Your quality trash. It's all trash. Not one single person on that side makes quality content. It's all garbage.
Things that are red flags to me seem to not be red flags to other seem to be light beacons to other people, and I don't understand it, and it makes me insane.
I got to thank quickly because there is some supports coming to keep it in because I love the support. It makes all the haters hate us even more. Wancho, thank you. Sorry, I was going to get to you. Wancho, my man, I hope you're feeling better. Remembering that speech the bad guy from Skyfall gave, pen the rats together in a barrel and they eat each other. Yeah, it's facts. Lightcast and the Snyder cult are rats. There's a lot of rats. There's more and more rats growing. People, Jody and I are banning, trying to create their own little rats and team with the other old rats. Have fun. Enjoy your cheese.
And then they eat each other.
Exactly. You'll come around. You'll see that the people you're siding with are probably not actually good, loyal people you're going to want to be friendly with.
People who I know are pretending to like each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who I know they hate each other.
Total liars. Total liars writing their own narrative and trying to like tank shit just to make their own thing. It's blows my mind. Have fun, guys.
What's crazy is, and at the end of the day, let me tell you, for I am kind. I'm on my God King Xerxes shit. I could blow this whole shit up. I could just completely, one by one, destroy and expose all this. But I choose not to. You know why? Because I'm moving forward, man.
Yep.
Life goes on.
But I got to
That's
say,
really all it
Jody,
is.
Lewis, and Casey, welcome to this. But it's nice. It's almost like we're on tour and we're playing one of our best hits right now.
Yeah,
we're
reunion.
playing
Great,
we're
great.
playing this Reject the Snyder Cult song, and they haven't heard in a while. So the fans are going nuts. They're like, "Oh my God, they're doing it one more time." This is our retirement tour. So we're enjoy it while it lasts. ORJ, thank you, RJ. It's amazing how violent these guys get over a universe stacked with terrible movies in a dark religion at this point. So glad it's over. It's true. These fandoms are like religions. And that's why we use the word cult. And again, what was so frustrating is everybody would sort of connect themselves like, "We're not a cult. How dare I like Zach?" Then if you are, then I'm not talking about you. So many people just project and assume we were talking about them.
Get defensive.
And get defensive. Exactly. And I was like, God, did I mention your name? No. Why do you keep assuming we're talking about you? It was the same thing when I did the Warner Brothers story. I still couldn't believe, like, why weren't they mad at Warner Brothers? Like, Warner Brothers was the one who didn't want to do anything with Zach. Like,
they want to shoot the messenger.
Don't be mad at me for telling you Warner Brothers hates him. Be mad at fucking Warner Brothers. But they never were.
And that's all they say. Like, for an hour on their videos. That's what they say. Warner Brothers doesn't want it.
It's the same thing when we were reporting on the Snyder Cut shit. Like, we all reached out to Warner Brothers, and I'm sure we all got the same email saying, "Hey, this is not happening." Like, what are we supposed to do as journalists? You guys beg us to be integrity-driven journalists. You beg us to be accurate. You beg us to reach out and confirm things. And when we do, and we get a confirmation back, you guys are like, "Oh, they're lying." Like, okay.
I sat there. Listen,
I can't win.
Casey, I sat and I looked Clay Enos in the face. I talked to Clay Enos, Zach's best friend, for like 40 minutes, and he proceeded to tell me the plot.
He thought
you were. He
thought Jody was in like the Snyder Cult, and he wasn't.
He thought I pretended to be a Snyder fan
right,
and get information from him, and he proceeded to tell me about Ray Fisher and Zach and how they're going to get Joss Whedon and all these fools out of here, and now they're upset and how much Zach hates them. And they still tried to doubt it. Even Clay tried to doubt it. But those receipts are golden. You can't stop the receipts. But the point I'm trying to make is, doesn't matter. That's why the cult stuff comes in. You have to have a cult-like mentality when you're hit in the face with so much facts and even so much stuff that's lined up that makes so much sense. For you to deny that, and even receipts, for you to deny receipts, you're insane. That's insanity. It's cult-like behavior. Usually cults are like that. I'm going to follow this person no matter what, no matter how much evidence you have against them.
I mean, look at how many people liked Army of Dead more. Come on. That movie had a lot of problems, guys.
That movie is soft.
Hold on. Aliens is a good movie. It's the same one.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There we go.
So much great. One more. Maximilian. Thank you, Maximilian. In my opinion, the whole Snyder fans Justice League motion comic thing looked very traced. There's blatant plagiarism and there's inspiration. Old art when I was in school, at college, not uni. And tracing wasn't allowed because it's considered cheating. Facts, Maximilian. Agreed. So I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Parker, thank you. I had a bad morning. The stream made my night. We're glad to make your night. And thank you. You got some topics for later. I'll get to them. I appreciate that. And then Andy McCollum, thank you for the super chat sticker. And thanks again, Knock Shadow, for that 25 earlier. Keep it coming, guys. I appreciate all your support as we play the greatest hits one last time for you with Jody. And happy to have Casey. Look, I appreciate you sticking up, standing out there, Casey. I respect it. And I will offer the same respect back. If you ever got a beef with me, now you know. Now we've met each other. Hit me up anytime. I will do the same to you before I do anything else. And I think that's what it's more people seem to do is have conversations. We don't always have to agree, but we can be fucking civil, hear each other out, have fucking conversations about it, and that's what it's about. But some of these fans refuse and then just want to bully and attack. I mean, do you feel that way?
I feel that way. I know we all feel the same way. Go ahead, Casey.
I was to say, I mean, totally. I think with it, part of the big. Sorry, I've got a kid yelling at me. I think part of the big reason, one of the big reasons, again, that this all kind of bothered me was that these guys were tarnishing other people's reputation unknowingly and making our jobs as journalists harder in the long run. Because again, it's as a person who's doing this for no money and doing this because I just happen to meet the right people or whatever. I don't know. And because people like the information, that when people go out there and put out this fake front and build a reputation off these fake things and build a cult around those ideas, and then when you push it back against those ideas, it becomes like this constant war. Like it's not. that's not conducive to anybody, and it's certainly not conducive to our industry. And maybe that makes me sound like a fucking Hollywood shill, I guess. I don't know, but
it doesn't at all.
I just want people to, like, you know, I mean, just I want people to enjoy this. I want people to trust people. Like, again, there's like Charles. I don't know if you guys follow, like Charles Murphy at the Murphy multiverse. That poor guy is right more often than wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
But I mean, he gets like just hammered anytime like he's like remotely off. And I'm gonna be honest. So like, spoiler alert. I guess I have to say this, but now. But so the end of Loki introduces a version of Kang, right? I knew this was happening. I knew it was. I had multiple sources. The same guy who told me about Alfred Molina and I broke that story told me Jonathan Majors was in the last episode of Kang, and he's doing this is the part he's playing. And I have an article saying that he's not playing Kang, he's playing a version of Kang. There will be multiple versions of Kang throughout the MCU from now on. And that seems to be all we have been now confirmed or whatever. But I was on pins and needles watching that episode, waiting for that reveal, because if it did not happen, I knew I was going to get slammed, despite being right about Loki getting a second season, despite being right about Alfred Molina, all those other things, those don't matter. Those are out the window at that point. You know what I mean? And so when other people come in and they're like profiting and manipulating people off of fake stuff, and when we're working our asses off to give you real stuff, it drives me insane. And maybe that makes me an insane person. If that's the case, then don't follow me on Twitter, because I call out people.
Dude, kudos. And just so I'll back him up, Casey has gotten that. Alfred Molina is the one I knew about, and some others. Casey's gotten some legit stuff, so I applaud you for doing that, because it's hard work to get that, and you never get anything out of it. It's only the stress.
Yeah, I've been doing this for
scoop
10 years.
Industry sucks, guys. But it's like, I was going to say, like the Spider-Man one, like a lot of people speculated and were hoping, and I came out. I had a source that I was so sure, like I knew it. I was like, it's happening. They're not only were they in, but they had been signed for a while, and it was confirmed.
Video should have got 80,000 views.
And exactly. And I teamed up with the Fandom Wire. Riley, I had to shout out to Riley because Riley was going to come on, and I appreciate him. But I put it all out there. And then what does Grace Randolph do? Oh, I called it first. And then you go and watch the video where she calls it out first, and she's literally like, Spider-Man is on, they're on his wish list along with Hugh Jackman on Wolverine. And she's just spouting bullshit that I'm like, I've said on ScreenJunkies for years
we could do a whole another episode on Grace Randolph.
And it's like she refuses to budge.
Stories about, you know what I mean? Like I said, Andy, you have a lot of industry friends too. You know what I mean? We talk to people who are in this industry, and yeah, dude,
I made a video calling out Grace's freaking shit about Wonder Woman 1984 Flashpoint. She made a whole video and told her whole audience that Wonder Woman 84 was a Flashpoint movie. I made a video, factually proven wrong, and all her fans would say, how we know, Grace is not lying. Grace, what? And then when Wonder Woman 84 came out,
anytime she says anything, it trends. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, bro, she's never been right, but okay.
It's the game, bro. It's the game.
Well, I mean, she's got her own cult. Look, a lot of fans and channels have their own cults, you could say. People are going to believe her no matter what because they're fans. Celebrities have cults.
I'm not going to call them cults. I'm going to call them fandoms, bro. I'm going to call them just fandoms. Cult is extra, bro. That's extra.
Fair, sure. You know what? Thank you for correcting me. You're right. But it's just like there's a level of I will follow whatever they want.
Bias, yeah, sure.
There's a bias, but you're right. Let's save the cult for the SnyderVerse because that's really where it was. Definitely. They don't always do death threats on Grace's behalf, but they'll be frustrating because they'll believe whatever she says, even when she's wrong. And then she'll be proven wrong, and they'll still be like, it doesn't matter. She was right. It's like, but you just said it's clear she was wrong. Anyway, but it's not a cult. But yeah, that's the reality is she's got a lot of fans that will do whatever she says. And look, good for her. She's been around a long time, guys. She's stuck in her, and there's
mad at it.
It's hard for me to like this. I'm with you, Casey, because I hate the ignorance. Like the misinformation to me is the most annoying thing. It's why I went up against Doomcock, who's like another one who just spouts bullshit. And no one wanted to call him out in the beginning, and I was like, what are you fucking talking about? He thought there was a George Lucas cut of Rise of Skywalker? It's like laughable, some of the shit he was telling people, and they were buying it up. And he was getting hundreds and thousands of views and money and props. And it's frustrating because you're right. Charles Murphy, Multiverse, they're good. Illuminati's been really good. There's a lot of really good scoopsters that people just are like, fuck them, I don't care.
Truth doesn't matter. I've noticed
Grace and bullshit, they all get the props.
Truth doesn't matter.
I've learned it's what, like I said,
what's sexy.
I haven't made $1 for a real job. but a lot of times they would use that as a crutch as well. They were like, we're not making money off of this, so like we can. It doesn't mean you can just say whatever you want.
Exactly.
Like you know what I mean? Like you're tarnishing not only the reputation of all of us. You're tarnishing, and then they would come back and like, well, you guys are just being gatekeepers. Like no. We're not being gatekeepers. What you're doing hurts us all. It hurts
Facts.
every single one of us.
Facts.
And you're not even doing the basic work. Like it again, before anyone brings something to our web to me or whatever, I need either verbal confirmation from two individual people. So two people need to say, yes, this is happening, or I need a document. A document I recognize, something that I've seen before, and then I can trace back to someone else. No one comes to me in my DMs and says, hey, this is happening, and then I post it on the site. That's never happened once. And we never like, it's don't take
but you
random
it's
shit from
interesting.
people.
You have your own, but you have specific sources that if you hear from a source, you will trust, yes?
Yeah,
One
but I'll
person.
also go back. I also have multiple people who will be in the same thing. So like, yeah. So like, if I hear something from somebody, I'll be like, hey, have you heard this, or do you have anything
Sure,
to
yeah,
back
yeah.
this
You
up?
can, I do that too. But I have like a couple that I'm like, well, if they tell me, I know it's fucking real.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there are certain ones, but
yes, absolutely. But I'm still not going to go. You know, what I mean, I'm not taking random things. I'm not.
Correct,
And
correct.
if that person's wrong, if that person gets something wrong, then I'm going to be very hesitant to go back and like get anything else from that person.
Correct,
I'm not going to keep putting out fake shit.
Right.
And they would just
and you'll correct
right
it
after another, right after another.
You'll correct it just like I did with my Snyder story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When we get letters, because I think we get letters from studios about things that need to be corrected or taken down for copyright or whatever, we would do that. We wouldn't manipulate the letter and be like, oh, well, they said that like they can't confirm anything on this story, but even though they at the top portion they said that it's completely untrue. Like wait, what? Like no, this is a takedown letter. Like take the story down. And that's what happened with the Zoink thing. Like they got a takedown letter and they put it in the article. And they're like, they see what here they say that it's like it's not a possibility. It's like, holy fuck. Like so
you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's and maybe I'm wrong for thinking this again. Maybe I'm like optimistic, but I just want people to have integrity and to be like, to maybe if you are wrong on something or a source is maybe not 100% accurate, like don't keep putting up fucking fouls. Right. Once you get one or two wrong, like in a row, or once we all get things wrong. Every one of us is going to get something wrong. Sources either misinterpret things or things happen. Like I was told that Falcon the Winter Soldier involved superhumans and a virus. Well, there was no virus. Technically, there was no virus. There was a scene with a woman and vaccines, but there was no virus. So I was wrong. But like, things get misinterpreted all the time. And you're getting third-hand information from someone on the set or someone in an office or whatever. You never know.
Maybe that wasn't wrong because they edited the show, I believe, to take that out. It looked like it was all set up there for it to be a virus, but the corona pandemic made them change it.
I can't say anything. Yeah, I can't say anything until things confirm. And again, sometimes it takes time. Like we put out a story in 2019 about, hey, Marvel's looking to put Werewolf by Night in something. Like that was 2019. It did not get confirmed until on Friday when Kevin Smith said, hey, I was trying to make a Howard Duck movie or TV show, and one of the characters they said I couldn't use was Werewolf by Night because it would be in the MCU soon. So it's things like that. It's like sometimes these things take time as well, or we ever hear about it. So yeah, I may be wrong. Yes, sue me. But if I'm right, fucking 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, maybe you don't believe the guy that's right 0 out of times out of 10. Maybe just, you know what I mean? Maybe that's just the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
You have to be sexier, put a mask on, or have blonde hair. I don't know what it is. Something. One of those things work. Tony Trombata wants a question for you, Casey, and me. Would you like to know if you guys think of Scoopster Mikey Sutton from Geekosity? I had a weird experience with them. Do you have any good or bad things to say about Mikey?
I would not trust Mr. Sutton or his scoops at all.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I had a weird DM exchange with someone in Geekosity. I don't know if it was him, but speaking on behalf of him and trying to get props for my Spider-Man scoop, and I was like, no, dude, show me where you did it, and I'll anybody, if I ever do something and I'm wrong or someone beat me to it and I missed it, please just let me know and I'll give credit. I've done it before and will continue to do so. But I was like, what are you talking about? Show me. And then I went and looked him up, and he was talking about how Ant Sarnoff is going to get the Snyder Cut back going again. I was like, well, no, I don't believe this guy. So I actually don't follow him much, but he seems to rile shit up from what I've gathered. That I've sort of signed off and said, nah.
He's one of these we got this cover types where he just fucking says everything, and they're like, again, they're putting out I think he's one of these guys that puts out a scoop like every week or one every week. It's like, guys, if someone's putting out a fucking scoop every fucking week, they're fucking lying. Like it's not how it works.
You can't get them that often.
Good luck. And if they are and they're not working for a major trade, like fucking kudos, because if me or Andy were putting out fucking balls on nailing every scoop and putting out one every single week and nailing all these castings before these trades were, you bet your ass fucking Hollywood Reporter or Variety or Deadline would be contacting us and saying, hey, what can we do to put you on the payroll? Or put you on a freelance job.
We should do a whole
something.
We should do a whole standalone video on talking the truth about these scoopsters. Because the other one I'm always confused by is Daniel Richtman and his Patreon. Have you ever engaged with him in real life?
I'm friends with Daniel, so I will say Daniel.
You'll plead the fifth.
I'm not gonna plead the fifth. I'll stand up for Daniel. He's extremely accurate. In fact,
he takes a lot of shots. Is my only frustration.
I think he does.
My back out, guys. I gotta go. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate you guys,
Jody.
man.
I think
Jody,
have a good one.
See you later, man.
I don't begrudge him on the Patreon idea. I fucking make your fucking money.
He's making money, yeah. Good.
Make your money. Do however.
I don't stop anybody from getting their living. Yeah, exactly.
I think what happens is he sections his Patreon in a very specific way. I think there's a section there. It's like rumor. Like this is just like whisper stuff, and you hear like whisper stuff. It's like, okay, I don't believe that for fucking shit. And he does put all that stuff on there, but he has to populate a Patreon. So I don't like. Of course, he's gonna fucking
fair enough.
do that.
That's interesting insight. So there you go. And that way, some people who are paying for it take it and then use it as like a story, and then
exactly that's what happens. So people take that like it's very clear that this is a rumor. Like I don't know if I believe it, even will state, and they will take that as Daniel Reichman said this is happening. It's like no. Like, and again, that's why I won't even usually touch like Daniel stuff or anything because, number one, I want to drive people to his Patreon, and I think people like hustle away. I don't think anyone should be begrudging anybody in this business or in this industry for trying to make money doing this stuff. Like if they're doing it in a unfaithful manner or they're doing it in a deceitful manner, absolutely call them out. But if people are just trying to like make a money and they're being successful and they aren't being deceitful or they are being accurate, like I said, I'm not going to believe shit about a Spider-Man trailer until I hear it from Daniel. And that's a fact. Like that's a fact. Daniel is the only guy who's ever been fucking dead on accurate about when trailers are coming out.
Yeah, he's actually had a pretty good track record, but it's not happening anytime soon. I have a pretty good source.
And
it's not happening anytime soon.
That. People are saying this week, and I'm like, okay.
No, it's not happening this week. And they're also going to be very disappointed when the trailer does come from everything I've heard about the marketing.
I've heard that as well.
Hold your breath for a while. I was going to say... go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say if you guys are worried about Spider-Man trailer, you've seen Marvel trailers before. You know they're not going to show shit in the first trailer. Like they're just not.
Mm-hmm.
So like just walk in,
be prepared.
Knowing that. Yeah.
Be prepared. I was going to say in order to getting things done and getting things paid, which again can't ever stop someone. I got two things I want to tell you guys before I clip this for the main show. One, my man Lewis. We need your support, guys. We need your support because Lewis and I are going to CinemaCon. And we need your support because it's been tough this month for a lot of us. And Lewis wants to get out there. He's got to get some gear and stuff ready to go so we can cover this properly for you. So I just put the link. If the mods can help share Lewis's link, his GoFundMe, I'd love to get some support to him tonight. We're going to go on his stream afterwards tonight, try and rally some more support. So please go pump over to Nerd. I see David March. Of course, David March is on.
David March and Stanley
so generous,
Thornton,
one of our investors. Stanley, thank you, Stanley and David, for supporting my man Lewis. I'll be throwing some bucks there in a second when I have a time to do it.
You don't have to, but
of course,
guys, things are tough right now. At the very least, sharing it is free. Go ahead, share it, and if you have a couple bucks, throw it my way. And I'm gonna be editing. Read the spiel there because I'm gonna be doing behind the scenes video.
Yeah, it's you can learn all about. I don't want to read. They know who you are. Go read this.
Yeah.
You can go look. But at the end, I like this as a bonus. He's playing a film behind the scenes footage of our trip to Vegas. For those who contribute $100 or more. Damn, I want that.
Yeah.
So if you get ready, that's Jody, Lewis, and I are going to meet. We'll probably be at a strip club at some point. You're going to want that footage. So make sure you
It's
get
just
there.
in Vegas, dude. That place is fucking crazy.
It's just like, if you're coming back, we'll be there last week of August 23rd through the 27th, right?
I can't make it to CinemaCon this year, but I wish I was. That's the best con too. I don't know, like, God, how can I say this nicely? People who aren't in the industry can't go, but if you are in the industry and you want to put in the application, like, fucking go for it because it's the fucking
we're in.
It's so much
we're
better.
Doing it. We're
than
in.
Comic-Con
Yeah,
and
we're
all
in.
that shit.
Yeah, we're in and we're excited. So we still got to get in all the things and stuff, but we're in. And regardless of what we get into, we're going to be streaming, having fun, doing some meetups. So you guys aren't going to want to miss this. It's going to be a good week, whether you can come or not. Lots covering. So help get Lewis there. We want to get Lewis there. Now I'm trying to get there too still. So please, mods, get the link out. But what I wanted to quickly plug is something I'm putting out there, and I need your guys' help because I need the funds too for this specific venture. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something more interesting. I want to get you guys rally.
Oh, wow. Look
So,
at that.
guys, extremely limited run here. Now, I'm a hat guy, and I love my new era hats. And so my designer, I'm gonna be debuting a bunch of cool new shirts and things. So stay tuned. But I've been designing this with him. He specially made my Popcorn Planet logo stitch like, it looks awesome. I'm super jazzed for it. But this is a fitted 3930 new era cap. There's literally going to be, depending on how many of you buy it, only either 12, 24, I don't know. But I'm going to do a special run so that money includes shipping. That's why it's a little bit more expensive because I got to ship it to you. So today, the next couple days, if you cash at me, make sure you put a little note and say, I want a hat. I'm trying to rally enough funds so I can get some hats made because I'm sick of wearing. I want to wear the Popcorn Planet hat. I'm going to buy a few myself, but they're always better in bulk. So I thought we would crowdfund this with you guys. I'll make a couple bucks more maybe if you guys order them, and that'll help with the Vegas trip as well. So extremely limited run. If you guys want to be Popcorn Planet investors and get the hat, that's how you can do it. So let me know, hit me up, DM me, make sure you're doing it. But I'd love to see some of you helping out to help me fund this hat purchase so I can get some made.
And that's a good quality hat. Is it going to look
Super
exactly
good.
like that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's the one I have right here. I'll even take off my hat head so you can see it. But I got this with the Mandalorian hat. This was a $40 hat in itself. But the 3930 is so good. It's a fitted. You can get it large, extra large. I have a really fucking big head. And so the large, extra large fits me. It's like fitted to it and stretches out. It's what my most comfortable hat is this brand. So I was really like, since I'm going to wear this hat a lot, and it keeps clean and it's got the fitted thing. It's just a really good hat. If you go to any of those sporting goods stores, you'll get it. So this is not cheap quality. This is like top of the line, new era 3930 brand with an exclusive limited run. You're going to have one of the exclusive only ones that I'm putting out there. So if anybody wants to get on there and get the hat, please do hit me up. I think they're pretty badass. I like the logo. You'll be 1 in a million potentially, but I think I can get up to 48. So if a lot of you do it, great. We'll do it. If only 12 of you do it, then we're good. But I'm trying to rally enough to make sure we can get this fun done. Depending on how many of you do it, I think and I might need your size too. So make sure it's either small, medium, or medium large, or large, extra large. I think are the three options. But I'll be plugging this in a few more streams, so I'll be doing a lot. But that and Lewis are your two promotions tonight. So thank you guys for that. I want to make sure I got that out there. All right, I want to finish up. I know Casey's got to go. I'm going to wrap things up. Make sure you go check out Geeks Worldwide. What is this? Sorry, it's Geeks. Where do I send them, Casey?
It's a horrible name. Not your fault.
Right? No, here it is. Right.
Worldwide, thegww.com.
There it is. That's thegww.com. If you want to see his sources and scoops, go follow him. And the Comics Kid with an X, Comics with an X, Kid on Twitter. Go show him some support. Love when somebody can come out here, even if we don't always agree, that we can be civil. Totally respect this guy. So mad props for coming on. And a lot of the things you say, we're on the same totally on the same wavelength on a lot of this, but go show him some love over there. We are not done the stream yet. Make sure you check out Nerd Report as well. We'll be talking more about it, but I'm just clipping this for YouTube here. You'll see some end cards and things because it was a long fire stream, but we got lots more to cover. Box office stuff that just broke. What is Black Widow a failure? Space Jam made $30 million, and LeBron saying, "Haha, haters." Should he really be gloating right now? We got lots more to go, as well as Netflix is getting into gaming. I've been away. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, so don't go anywhere if you're watching live. If you missed the replay, hit that join button, and you can become a member today. Join and watch all the exclusive previous streams and help us keep going on this channel. Thanks everybody for watching on the replay. Live viewers, hi.